Okay. Right, let's lighten the mood a little bit, shall we? Let's take a look. Should we check in on some of our old friends of the show? If you're new to the podcast, you might not know this, but we used to do a lot of the sort of far right watch stuff before I kind of broke it out into its own thing. We used to do a lot of checking in on friends of the show, people like Darren Grimes, Dan Wootton. I do a little segment mauling them. Give them the tap dancing tosser award. Do you guys remember that? The old tap dancing. Have I got the jingle here?
Well, that's absolutely pathetic.
There you go. Never gets old. We would dish one of those out to people who I felt had earned them from performing their own bellendery to the standards that I expect. Allison Pearson was one of those. Do you know what Allison Pearson's been up to recently? Celebrated Daily Telegraph journalist, coiner of the phrase two-tier policing, as I understand it. Although maybe that was the headline writer, political editor, or whatever. I don't need to re-explain to you who Allison Pearson is, I'm sure. But given she allegedly posted a tweet in which she misinterpreted, allegedly, again, two men of South Asian heritage, thinking that they may or may not have been Palestinian or Palestinian sympathizers, but actually they were nothing really to do with that. And she may have allegedly called them Jew haters. Then she may have allegedly told the police that it was two-tier policing and two-tier justice, and that gave birth to this big conspiracy theory that we're all still dealing with. You'll be relieved to hear she's taken a break from all of that, guys. She's taken a break from that conspiracy theory and that alleged disinformation. And now, instead, she is... What is she sharing here? What's she been reposting to Twitter? Look at this shit. This is by Stephen Barrett, who says, leaving the ECHR will not harm our international reputation. But this will, he says. So whoever the fuck this guy is, he wants to leave the ECHR, doesn't see any problem with that. And he says, actually, the thing that will harm our international standing is, he quotes Marco Rubio here. And the quote says, we've stopped sharing a lot of intelligence with the UK government because we no longer see them as reliable. Which doesn't sound too good, does it? That actually sounds quite damning. What an indictment of how unreliable the UK is as a member of the Five Eyes military and defence agreement, a key strategic and nuclear ally of the United States. Yeah, I mean, that's really upsetting. If Marco Rubio, United States Secretary of State, has said we've stopped sharing a lot of intelligence with the UK government because we no longer see them as reliable, that would be upsetting for me if it was true. But it's not. It's not true. He's never said that. This has been refuted, denied, debunked. Never happened. And then, to be fair, you've got an LBC journalist here, a guy called Ben Kentish. Don't know if you guys are familiar with him. Ben Kentish sometimes hosts shows, steps in for people. He does little segments and things. I've heard him on James O'Brien a couple of times. And he says he's re-quoting or screenshotting Allison Pearson, who is reposting this Stephen Barrett thing. So he's holding her up to the world. This Ben Kentish guy is just a senior Daily Telegraph journalist and a prominent barrister. I guess that means Stephen Barrett is a barrister. I don't think Allison Pearson is a lawyer. I mean, she barely understands what a law is. She doesn't. Yeah, hi. No. We'd like to speak to you about the comments that you allegedly made, where you allegedly called those two gentlemen Jew haters. We'd like to speak to you about that. Oh, right. Well, fortunately for me, I don't have to speak to you because I will not be responding to any non-crime hate incidents. Right. Well, I mean, we don't actually want to talk to you about non-crime hate incidents, Ms. Pearson. We want to talk to you about the crime of inciting racial hatred. Right. Well, I mean, you You call it what you like. If it's potato, I think, isn't it? You call it a crime. I call it a non-crime. Hate incidents and two-tier justice. Fucking imagine if you had Allison Pearson as a lawyer. Like, just imagine. I mean, it doesn't bear thinking about. It really doesn't. And such thoughts, such fright are not helped, of course, when you consider the reality that Suella Braverman, who is equally batshit, is legitimately a lawyer. So, anyway, so Ben Kentish says, just a senior Daily Telegraph journalist and prominent barrister sharing completely made-up quotes, purportedly from the US Secretary of State. There was a time when journalists and lawyers used to care about facts and truth. And I would say, like, should we go and check on Allison Pearson? Should we check on Ali? See if she still has she bothered to withdraw the tweet, the repost. You know, because if you share disinformation, is what that is. Like, misinformation is where you have accidentally spread something, but disinformation is where it's like a weapon. It's deliberately being put out. And I think the original quote, not by her, but I think like the image, the quote, was disinformation, designed to weave a narrative. But she's a journalist and she's spread this, and another journalist has called her out for it. So do we think, what do we think, before I go looking, do we think that she's bothered to unrepost it, to withdraw it, and like publish a correction? Because I'm doubtful. I'm doubtful. Like, when she was corrected before about the problems in that alleged tweet that she allegedly posted where she allegedly called them the Jew haters and suggested allegedly that it was in London that march when actually it was up in Manchester. I don't think she published a correction. Like, this was the whole thing. So I'd be really surprised if she has the integrity, the standards, or if even the editor of the Telegraph has like DM'd her and gone like, yeah, you might want to like unrepost that because that's not actually accurate, Ali. But let's go and have a look. Let's check in on Ali. So this is her profile. Allison Pearson has blocked you. I really don't think she liked my critique of her work around that time. Fortunately, though, just one of the few upsides is now when you get blocked by somebody, you're not actually really blocked by them. Like, you can still see all of their tweets and shit. So let's scan down a bit. And wait, when was the tweet? Because that'll give us a gauge of like when the repost might be. So the one that was posted by Stephen Barrett was on the 11th of October at 15:36. Okay. Oh, shit. Look. It's still there. It's still there. Stephen Barrett, October the 11th, reposted by Allison Pearson. And somebody's been good enough to add like community notes, some context to it. I mean, like, what else do you need to see? Like, there's no retraction. I'm scanning up so I get like closer to now after it's been exposed. As far as I can see, there's no. Look, I'm happy to be corrected on this, but from what I can see here, I can't see any correction to that, or withdrawal, or like clarification. So yeah, it's another slam dunk for the Telegraph's Allison Pearson. Pulitzer Prize pending.
Just another video with